So recently I saw a YouTube video and I've seen all these kids with fluffy hair telling you that you need to make $10,000 a month to actually be financially free and basically live the life. I want to break down today how much money you actually need to live like people portray it to be on Instagram. You're going to be shocked when I tell you this, but it's going to be way fucking more money than you actually expect to. Okay, so let's break down how much money you truly need to live a good life. Well, there's a few components on what that even means. And the first one I'm going to start with, the most classic one, the one which is portrayed the most, which is the traveling aspect. All right. So traveling really depends on how you go about it, like how much you're going to spend on it. If you're not going too crazy, no first class, no private jets, no insane hotels, it's going to be like depending on how often you go as well. But I'm going to just put in $3,000 a month as something very realistic. If you just don't go crazy, that can be way more expensive. But $3,000 a month, that's how I did it back in the day. When I was making around like 10, $20,000 a month, I wasn't spending way more than that because you can feel it like disappearing from the bank account and just hurts too much. So around $3,000 a month is going to be for traveling expenses. Now, the second thing is, and this is something which most people forget, you pay rent while you travel as well. So travel is like double expenses where you have all your expenses on traveling, but also you have your rent, right? Usually depending on the apartment you go for, you don't have to go crazy again. So I'm just going to say like $2,000 a month is something where you can have a pretty good apartment, but it's not going to be like top notch. Like usually for an amazing apartment, it's going to be anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. Let's just start with $2,000 a month for the rent. $2,000 a month plus $3,000 a month, we already have $5,000 gone. Now, the one which I'm personally spending the most money on is not looking at prices. And that's fucking expensive. Because whenever you go out, whenever you are in a shop, in a store, you just get things. If you actually truly don't care about like how much it costs, it adds up. For me personally, I'm not going to put it into the thing you're going to spend, but like for me personally, I'm spending $10,000 to $15,000 a month on just not looking at anything, which makes it pretty expensive, right? But usually just not looking at prices whatsoever, you won't expect this, but it's going to add up way higher than you actually think. It's going to be around $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And that sounds like a lot, but it really isn't, because if you can pick something for $50 versus $100, if you just don't look at the price, you're always going to go for double the cost, which is like the thing is a little bit better, not double as good, but a little bit better, but you're still going to go always for that. And every item which you generally buy, like groceries, restaurants, travel, like food, even like hotels, everything just becomes double or triple more expensive by not looking at the price tag. I'm going to put in here like around $3,000 a month for all these things, but that's conservative. Most likely it's going to be more. The next thing, and this is something where like most people don't even think about that at all because they only think about themselves, is retiring people who are very close to you. I personally retired my parents, and that costs me around $10,000 a month on a very consistent basis, basically forever. That's just something which, like, you have to consider that by itself. To retire a parent is expensive, because to have two people who don't work full time but live off something is not as cheap as you think, okay? So just that alone is $10,000. And I didn't even get to the crazy part, because you guys think in revenue is profit, is how much I can spend, etc. That's not even close, all right? And then on top of all of this, you're gonna have something like food, restaurants, cars, just the fun luxury things. So you could definitely add another, like basically $3,000 in here for just like luxury items. Now, here's the crazy thing. If we add all this up, basically we're literally at $21,000. So if we add this to 21 a month, $21,000 a month, that doesn't sound too bad and it's very doable. However, $21,000 a month is literally $42,000 before taxes, because taxes is something which most people forget. So this is how much profit you need to make to live like this. This is the profit you have. Usually with organic, if you have 50% margins, we can double that again. So we're at like $84,000 already. So here right now, we have $84,000 a month to have this. And now the crazy thing comes. You're spending everything. If you make this and you live like this, You're spending 100% of every month income. And I want to be transparent with you because most people don't even tell you these things. They're going to tell you that if you make 10K a month, you're rich, you're balling. It's not like it seems at all. And I want to be as transparent as possible for you. And this is probably going to cost me a bunch of people because they're not going to want to join my stuff. This is how much you actually need to make. So reconsider if you want to do business overall, because that is spending everything. In reality, you obviously can't spend everything. So you're going to need to make $100,000 a month to come close to this. This is difficult, all right? Making $100,000 a month is a very difficult task. And to get here, you basically need to be an elite level dropshipper. You need to be in the 0.1% of people who even start dropshipping. The question is, do you consider yourself that guy? And be honest to yourself, because if no, this is not realistic. And you should aim lower, because that number versus that number seems such a big jump. However, people who make 10K, they basically buy a nice watch, buy a nice car, and it looks like they're balling, and it looks like they're making this, when in reality, they're just here, they got the experience once. There's a very big difference between going to high-class hotels on a monthly basis versus just doing it once here and there. Because this right here, if you travel every month, this is gonna happen. If you don't, you basically cut this is done. If you do that every 3 months, instantly you only have 1K left instead of 3K, right? Same things for basically everything. You don't have to spend 10K a month on your parents if you don't want to. You don't have to not look at prices. Not looking at prices is literally the most expensive thing out of everything for me personally, but that's something which you don't have to do. So this is just something I want you to consider. Usually when you watch every other YouTube video out there, literally every single one, you're gonna see people talk about this. All right, this here is garbage. You don't want this. You want this. So ask yourself, why is this going on? Why are people telling you this is the goal and not this? Well, this seems more attainable. This seems more easy. And this just seems so much more realistic so they can sell you their stuff. Well, I want to be transparent. I only want people in my program, for example, who actually understand the whole thing. I want people to expect exactly what they get. And that's what the whole channel is about, being as transparent as possible, which you're literally not going to see anywhere else. It's also the reason why we post so many case studies over and over again of people making a bunch of money. But even with that being said, in the case studies, we constantly talk about the downsides. I never hide the fact that somebody who has a nice dashboard didn't make profits. Or if somebody had a bunch of money but lost it all. I always mention that in the videos just to make sure that you understand what actually is to come if you go on this journey. So if you're not sure, don't do it. If you are though, we have a program where we're going to teach you everything you need to know about dropshipping. And if you're interested, you can click the link below, sign up for a call, and we're going to see if it's a good fit.